Hi there YouTube, Big G back again with another video, and while I've been cleaning up I came across this package. You know, you forget you have things stuck away in all sorts of corners, and it's a Game Boy, an original Game Boy. Let me just take it out here. Game Boy with some games, a spare little screen. This one here is loose, it's over there, and I thought, well, you know, I've found this. It's very discolored. You can see there's the original color that's over there. Now it's been discolored. It was obviously left out in the sun for years and years and years, and I picked it up somewhere a couple of years back somewhere. I'm not sure, I can't even remember where I picked this up, and I thought, why not restore it? So first things first, I'm going to strip it down, take all the bits and pieces apart, and then work on this coloring. I mean, just have a look at this coloring over here. Let's see, the shadows are not too good. Look at the coloring, and see if I can retrobrite it a bit, bring back some of this original coloring that's over here, and then obviously reattach the screens once I'm done. But I thought at the same time, you know, last year I ordered from China, as Mr. Trump will say, a backlit screen for one of these Game Boys, and I haven't had a chance to actually install one, so I thought, why not at the same time, while I'm restoring this, I'll also install a backlit pane for, or a backlight for this Nintendo Game Boy here at the same time, and see if we can get this old Game Boy back up to its former glory. So yeah, let me start stripping down. Okay, just to recap, we've gone and we've installed the backlight. I've pulled the cables through here, the positive and the negative. We've installed the polarizer film as well between the backlight and the screen in order for it to get a correct picture. Now I'm going to be soldering the negative to that pin there of the capacitor. The positive, one side of the positive, gets soldered to this little resistor that comes with the kit, and the other side of the resistor to that point over there. And then we should have power for our backlight. So let me do that. And there we have it. Okay, so I've got enough soldered the negative to that pin of the capacitor. The positive I connect to that little resistor, and then to the positive, and then I just stuck a little piece of black insulating tape just behind the resistor. I mean, you can go and put that tubing stuff over the top of it as well, heat shrink, which would work probably even better, but I don't have any, so in lockdown you make do with what you've got. And yeah, so a little bit of black tape, and now we're ready to test to see whether this works. Now this has been a very frustrating mod, I must admit, and I think it's the parts that I actually purchased from our friends in China. I don't know, I can't see that I've done anything wrong, but the results are just not what I expected. So let me just run through them quickly over here. I'll just pull this apart. Okay, let me take out the backlit screen. So firstly I went and I removed the silver call it polarizing sheet from behind the actual LCD screen. I pulled that off carefully. I removed it. I cleaned the back of it over there. I then took the new polarizing sheet and I placed it behind there, and I don't know if you can see there's bubbles. No matter what I do, I don't know, I can't get rid of those bubbles. I've cleaned behind this here with rubbing alcohol. I've cleaned the polarizing sheet off with rubbing alcohol. I place it back on. I've got bubbles again. Okay, so that's one issue. The second issue is, and I think this is the main issue because you don't really notice those bubbles, is this backlit screen. Let me switch it on. And you know, I've looked at other YouTube videos now just to go and compare, and I think this is where the problem is. This backlit screen, just look at how little backlighting it does. Zap. Did you even notice anything? Got 4 little LEDs. 1, 2, 3, 4 little LEDs over there. It hardly gives any backlighting whatsoever. Let me just switch this off. I've got a game in there. So if I place it inside, and I don't want to put fingerprints on here because every time I put fingerprints on here then I have to sit and clean it with rubbing alcohol. It gets rather annoying. And I've tried it both ways. I've tried putting it in this way, but then you got all this like pixelated, it makes it look terrible. So I'll place it at the back there. Now the other thing is the polarizing film could also be one of the issues, but if I turn it around, the screen goes completely dark. If I turn it this way, then it's light. And the guys say on YouTube, those that I've looked at, if you're doing the diffuser mod, then you make it sure that it is, because then it sort of reverses the colors, and you do it, place it so that it actually goes all the way black. So from what I can see, I've put the polarized film in correctly. So now I've got enough, put the backlit screen inside there. And let me just switch a light off here in the room, just so that we can get maximum effect. And I still think it's this backlit. So I'm going to go and switch it on. And you can barely see what's on there. And I'll play around with the contrast. There's just not sufficient light coming in from that backlit screen. So that's the one way, and then if I turn it around it does become a little bit better. Let's put it in this way. But again, it should be bright. I mean, some of those that I've seen on the net are seriously bright. So I'll just slide it in there. line it all up and switch it on. And you can barely see. You can genuinely barely see anything. So yeah, I'm not happy with that at all. Not at all. So I think what I'm going to be doing is, yeah, with the lockdown now, it's going to be difficult getting other parts. I'm going to have to get another backlit screen from a different supplier. One that actually does do some backlighting with another polarized screen at the back there. I even tried turning, excuse me, I even went and tried turning the polarizing sheet around. I've tried it all different ways to see if it would make any difference there. Actually made it even worse. So I blame this backlight. Now I can't see that I've done anything wrong. If you do see anything that I might have done wrong, please put it down there in the comments. But otherwise everything else should be fine. It's just this damn backlight screen. Let me just take the game out so it just loads. I mean, you can barely even see that. And it should be bright, bright, bright. So, scratch that backlight screen. That didn't work. But anyway, let's put it back together so we can see how the retrobriting actually went. This will have to be complete this project at another time. Well, I've retrobrighted it as best as I can, and the result isn't as good as what I wanted. And the main reason for that is I simply didn't have all the right chemicals in order to do the process. But it is still a lot better. I mean, we'll compare this to what it looked like beforehand, and it still is better. But I would have preferred to have got it closer to this undamaged, or let's have a look here. If I hold the back section of the actual Game Boy and versus the front, yes, there's an improvement, but it still doesn't match that in color. And the main, like I said, the main reason is I didn't have hydrogen peroxide cream. I didn't have the bleach that I wanted, the hair bleach that I wanted, and a couple of other chemicals which I couldn't get because of the lockdown with the COVID-19. That's right. So that affected that. But anyway, a mixture with hydrogen peroxide and some washing powder, which was a terrible idea to use that washing powder, that Vanish 02. It just foamed. I think I put too much in, I'm not sure. But not much success, or not a great success, I don't think, with the actual retrobriting of it. But it does look better. And now it's just a matter of starting to put it back together to see what it looks like once it's got all its innards back in there. Okay, we've put it all back together, guys, and the retrobriting worked the best out of this entire project. It actually doesn't really look that bad at all compared to what it looked like before, and I went back and had a look at some pictures of what it looked like before, and there actually is a marked improvement. I'd love to get some new screens, these little covers here. You know, even my best one is still very scratched, and maybe there's some way of removing those scratches. I must actually check that out. But I think the most disappointing bit about the whole project was the backlight. That was just not it actually was a step backwards. I mean, it's just not working properly at all. It should be brighter. There should be a lot more light coming from it. And you know, as I said, I did go through some of the videos on YouTube from other guys that have done the mods, and the light is bright, and this one is definitely not bright. So maybe there's a problem with it, I'm not sure, but I'm going to have to get another backlight, put it in there, and then this project will be complete. But otherwise, I enjoy doing it. A lot of time on my hands now with the lockdown, and it's always nice to do little projects and get these old Game Boys back to their former glory. So I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun getting it up and done, and even though it wasn't a complete success, it wasn't a waste of time. I still enjoyed it. So guys, that's all from me. Cheers, and remember, keep it retro.